You're being the biggest contribution to the arguing continuing in your relationship without realizing it. And I'm going to tell you how. Most of you has a really bad habit of speaking for your partner. Now, where speaking for your partner is not the best thing. They should always speak for themselves. The fact that you speak for them isn't the worst piece of it. It's that you speak for them negatively. How often have you done this or even heard or noticed your partner doing this to where you both are getting into that conflict type of a conversation, and then one or both of you is saying things like, well, you do this, you do that, you believe this, you believe that, right? See, what your problem is, you think X, Y, Z, right? Just imposing all this narrative from how you're experiencing your partner from the outside looking in, and you're projecting whatever your belief system is on them, but with negative framing to it. Or even when you guys go and do something that I never condone, right? Which is talking to friends about your relationship, to go complain or vent. And the first thing you say to the friend or the family member is, oh, he thinks this or she thinks that. See, they think all the time this, or they believe this and the third. And so what they're trying to do is, or what he's trying to do is, or what she's trying to do is, and you keep just creating this narrative of speaking for what your partner believes. But it's really just your perspective on what you're evaluating, what you think they believe, but you're speaking it as if it is a fact. Now, you could be correct with some of these things. You might be right. But oftentimes, or more often than not, I'll say, now even actually, I'll use scenarios when I have been coaching couples in front of me, right? It's happened so many times where one person has started saying things in this really, defining way, or, speaking it in absolutes, right? See, he thinks this or she thinks that, and this is what their problem is. And always I'll stop and say, hey, is that true for you? I ask the other person, is what they said about you and your belief, is that actually true for you? And 9 out of 10 times, the other person says, no, that's not actually what I believe. It's not really what I think. That's not really how I feel. Now, to give some credit to the partner that's making these kind of accusations or these kind of, statements, if you will, their partner may say, yes, I agree with this portion of what they said, but the reason for why they said it, no, I do not. Or in actuality, I don't believe it to the way they think I do, right? To where you're almost never 100% accurate on this assumption you're making about your partner. And so then what happens? If you make assumptions about your partner's belief systems and so forth, and you speak for them, especially if you're speaking for them in a negative light, the first thing they're going to want to do, just like you would do when your partner does it to you, is defend yourself. Defend your character, defend your identity, speak up for what you actually believe, because clearly your partner's saying something that goes against it, right? And it's not representing you properly, especially if it's representing you in a negative light. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. So the moment you start saying things that imposes a negative perspective on your partner or belief system or whatever, then they're instantly going to want to fight you back to where they're not interested at all in working with you and working through the problem or why we're even having this argument in the first place. They're more interested now in just winning the battle of speaking up for their character and their identity and being who they feel they are. The more you spend time in a conflict type of conversation, focusing on you, your beliefs, how you feel, what you think your partner believes, especially if it's in a negative wheelhouse, right? And you're imposing that on them, then you're going to create more of your own issue. You're going to just add fuel to the fire and create more of an argument to where then what happens, right? We get such in the reactionary space. So now if you do it, then your partner, they defend themselves, and now they feel they have to go on the offensive as well and attack you and say, so no, your problem is you believe this, that, and the third, right? Now you're just throwing back and forth blind statements that are negative, not even uplifting. If you're going to speak for your partner, which you shouldn't anyways, right? But if you're going to try to do it, speak for them positively. Right. And if there is a truth that maybe there's something that they did that was negative or hurtful to you or whatever the case is, that's giving you a certain perspective on how they see things and how they think, then if you're going to speak up about that, yeah, it's OK to say, hey, this thing happened, maybe that you did, right? And it was hurtful to me. But I know you didn't mean for that to be the result I got. But I know you never intended for that to hurt me. But I know you would never intentionally want to do something that's going to be harmful to me. But I know you weren't probably aware of what the impact was you were making, right? Speak the positivity into their character, because that's something someone's looking to hear. Hey, are you trying to make me the bad guy? Right? Or are you trying to talk to me about maybe something that maybe I did make a misstep on? So I can take some accountability, but it's hard to do that if you feel like you're under the gun, being pressured in this negative perspective being imposed on you about your character or who you are. So if you really want to cut down the arguing in your relationship, be mindful of how often you are in a space to where you're speaking for your partner negatively instead of breathing inspiration into your partner and maybe speaking towards them positively. And if anything, make this shift from speaking for them to just asking them better questions so they can speak for themselves to get clarity on what you may be thinking, to either confirm what's in your mind or to actually help you realize some things you didn't see. But either way, it breeds more unity and peace instead of more fuel fired arguing. If you need help building the skills or the tools to do this in your relationship, email or DM me the word coaching and we'll get to work as long as you're truly ready to put the work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time or the space for it, then email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community, where you can take my relationship renewal course and all my other resources there to help you get the same results I help my one-on-one clients get on your own time at your own pace. Either way, get in the race. Let's get it.